All right, good Monday afternoon, everybody. Hello, Tim.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good decade. I see you are looking at the Tigers' score. They finally got in the win column.
4-0.
4-0 over Houston.
Shame it doesn't count.
It's true. What did you think about that game against the Yankees, the 22 to?
I don't even know what they've done. I haven't paid
Yeah.
1 ounce of attention to
Not
it.
a lot.
I mean, it was on radio today, and I heard somebody hit a 3-run homer, and it was 4-0. I think there's way too much spring training, and if you're 0-30 or 30-0, it doesn't make any difference. They're just playing all these. You got to save all the veterans, see what rookies can play. You're just trying to get through it. All those veterans just want to get through to the end of March because they know that the grind starts at the end of March.
It sure does. All right, we're gonna.
Even Fred thinks that's way too long, spring training. Way too long.
Fred thinks that, then you know it's real. And this is going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the second season with the new pitch clock rule to make the games go a little quicker.
Yeah.
What did you think about how it worked out last season?
It couldn't. I mean, they had to do something, and I think they're going to do more. I think the commissioner still thinks it's too slow. It's just they're looking to try to get these into the neighborhood of 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is the way it was when I grew up.
What changed?
I got older.
What changed for the game to make it?
Well, there's more commercials. There's just more. These players are so used to going at their own pace, and these managers are, because if it's 2:30 or 3:30, the amount of play is the same. It's not like you don't get the same action. You get the same action. There's just less standing around. Look, they realize in the world we live in today, people are on the go. They do things quicker, faster, get more into their lifestyle, and they want to appeal to a younger audience. I get all that, and to do that, they've got to, put a little pedal to the metal on this thing. But as an opening salvo, they shortened what the clock's shorter as it is. Isn't it with men on base? Is that what it is? By 2 seconds, something like that.
Right.
In little increments, they're trying to figure out a way to get that. 2:30 is where they're trying to get. Whether
That's
that
the
happens
goal.
or not, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you heard when we were coming out here to the desk, but people are still talking about MSU basketball and.
What are they saying?
I don't know if I can say
men
that.
or women?
Men. And I
The
don't
women
know.
are really doing well.
They're doing very well. They're setting
I thought you were talking about
records.
the women. When you said they're talking
I have that
about them,
coming
the
up
women
next.
are they're winning like crazy. Oh, you mean the men?
The men. I got the women
I didn't
coming
know
up next.
that. When I think of MSU basketball these days, I think of the women. They're winning.
What does that say?
I'd say they probably have had I mean, they've got a good coach, and the players are playing well, and they're excited about the postseason. And
Yeah, they.
I mean, I
broke a record.
thought you meant the women. I never thought you meant the
We can
men.
talk about the women first. I will always go ladies first. They broke a single-season school record for three-pointers over the weekend.
Well, they were playing Rutgers.
I don't care.
And I think you could have stood out there against Rutgers and fired away and scored at will.
I probably could have.
I'm not trying to demean their win. I'm just saying, when I saw Rutgers, this ain't the same Rutgers you saw 4 or 5 years ago. They're a little down.
A little bit.
They're a little down.
But that's also 255 three-pointers this season, which breaks the record set back in 2016, 2017
The rap
season.
on basketball these days, the NBA and all that, is that all it is a three-point shooting contest, but Caitlin Clark's made the three-pointer fashionable, especially if you make them. And, A-Roll for State, she's pretty accurate. She's pretty good. I think State's women playing at home would beat Iowa.
Iowa women?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they can beat the men, but I think they can beat the Iowa women. They nearly beat them in Iowa City. I mean, for all the Falderell Iowa's had this winter, I think if Iowa played at State, State would beat them. We'll never know. They don't play at State.
Right. Well, with Iowa, Caitlin Clark is now 51 points away from passing Pistol Pete's record.
She's going to get it.
She's going to get it, you think?
She's in a slump. She's pressing right now because she's had 2 games where her shot's been way off. She has otherwise played pretty well. She had 1 trillion assists and rebounds against Illinois yesterday. You saw that coming because she had a bad game against Indiana. But when she's on the road, she's everybody's big game, so they're all trying to stop her. But when they're in Iowa City, batten down the hatches, because that bucket looks about 6 times bigger on home than it does on the road. But she's been off. She only had 24 yesterday.
Well, now we're going to go to the men and talk about the maybe not so great weekend that the team had. Is their tournament chances in jeopardy?
Well, I think I mean,
I just had a producer laugh, so.
I think the more accurate statement is they're not in the field yet.
Okay.
They're not in yet. And you could say that about a lot of teams every year. They're not in yet. I don't think there's necessarily a magic number per se, although with the 3 games they have left, I'd advise them not to lose them all. And in the office today, we're saying after Purdue, if you assume they're going to lose at Purdue Saturday night, could they lose at home next Wednesday to Northwestern and then at Indiana the following Saturday to end the regular season? Because if they do, they'd have a 5-game losing streak. They'd be 17-14, and then the world's going to look a little cloudier than what it is today off the Ohio State loss.
So what happened between being preseason darlings to where
I
we're
think
at
they
now?
were overrated to begin with. I mean, a lot of they were ranked 4th in the Associated Press preseason poll. I didn't have anywhere near that because I had to wait and see whether or not, for all of the publicity those freshmen got, that class, the freshman class. Well, none of them have started. One's being redshirted, one's injured, and the other 2 only play sparingly. So that's the same team that lost 13 games 3 straight years, and Joey Hauser was gone, and I thought, why are they going to be that much better? So I'm not 100% at all surprised. What does surprise me a bit is some of their veteran players are no better than what they were a year ago.
That's a problem.
Well, it is if you lost 13 last year because they got 11 now. Purdue could be 12, not winning the Big Ten tournament's 13, and whatever postseason tournament they get, if they don't win it, that's 14. And that's assuming they beat Northwestern and Indiana on the road. And I'm not convinced they will.
I'm just looking at the schedule right now. They got Purdue Saturday.
Yeah, then Northwestern Wednesday at home, and then at Indiana. That's what they got left. Then it's a Big Ten tournament. They're not going to get a bye in that thing. And to me, that thing is an albatross for them because it's just they're exhausted, they're injured to some degree. That's more games they got to play night to night to night to night when you want to get rested for the NCAA tournament. I think those conference tournaments, especially when you got to play extra games, and they're not going to get the double bye that most teams would like, so that you only had to play 3. I don't know how many they're going to play, but to me, there's nothing in it for them.
And I heard on the radio this morning you guys talking about the different penalties, fines, anything like that for storming the court after, was it the Wake Forest and Duke game? What are your thoughts on that? And how does that differ from storming the field in football?
Well, every stadium's different. At Michigan State, first of all, you got to win a big game to storm the field, so that's out.
Little soon.
You gotta win a big game first at home. If you don't do that, and State will never have the trouble in basketball because in the Breslin Center, the wins they get are not games that are shocking upsets. They're always predicted to win, so that won't happen. And in football, the stadium, the field's sunk, and it's almost impossible to get on the thing. But in basketball, in my opinion, when you've encouraged all these student sections sitting around the base of the floor and making a racket the entire game, and who knows what's got those students stoked up to begin with, when you have an emotional win, as was the case with Wake Forest against Duke, there's easy, if those were adults at my age there, you're just hoping that you got enough strength to get up and get out of the arena. But for the students, well, let's go on this floor and celebrate our big win over Duke.
But then you get a little bit out of hand, and players are getting hurt, like Caitlin Clark when Ohio State.
She got knocked down. She didn't really get hurt. I don't know how bad the Duke guys hurt. I mean, you reap what you sow. You guys want all these students sitting around the court doing their thing, making life miserable for the opponent. So if that helps you win a game against it has to be a big opponent. If it's just another win, they don't do it. They do it when it's a shocking upset, which for Wake Forest was beating Duke. Iani told me today on the radio, he says, well, you can police that, and I mean, to some degree you probably can. And it doesn't happen very often because it doesn't happen very often that there are shocking upset. You have to beat a good team. It's got to be a shocking upset for the home team. Well, for Wake Forest and Duke, that's what it was.
Well, that's the whole point. Like, they're so excited. You want to be able to be in that
Indiana
moment.
didn't do it last Thursday in the women against Iowa because they were blowing them out the whole game. So at the end, it was just over, and what a great win, and we'll cheer and go. It wasn't like it was a dramatic finish at the end and we stormed the floor. And the circumstances have to be right for that. It doesn't happen very often to begin with.
Like that game-winning field goal, that game-winning three-pointer, like it's got to be.
Let me put it this way. If the Ohio State kid made that shot in Columbus yesterday against Michigan State, they'd have been on the floor, like they were last week against Purdue. But if State would have hit that to win it, no, because we're just beating Ohio State and they're lousy. I mean, the circumstances have to be right for it to happen in the first place.
Well, MSU women's gymnastics also doing amazing
They're
this
good.
season. Fred has a story coming up on them tomorrow.
They're
very good.
They're the Michigan State team.
Better than the women?
Of the entire year that impressed me the most.
Better than hockey and women's basketball?
All of it, because I can't believe what tremendous athletes they are. See how easy it is to get on that, what is that called?
The balance beam?
The balance beam.
The vault?
See how easy that is to flip over that thing and hit it in the middle. Now, I mean, call me crazy.
I have family in gymnastics.
I mean, a lot of us in here can probably go hit a softball, and we can shoot a basketball, and we can throw a football. See how many in here can go get on that balance beam?
Not a lot, and they're doing really,
now,
really
I'd be good at the floor axe.
Really? You think you'd be good at?
I could do
with
all
the ribbon?
Whatever it takes.
Okay.
And I remember in phys ed, I used to do 10 or 12 iron crosses every day, just to kind of get loosened up. They look, when I watch them, it looks like the Olympics.
Yeah.
They're that good.
They're.
How'd they get all those good athletes? Can they play other sports? Let them go play other sports.
Sometimes they
The
do.
softball team lost 22-0 to Duke Saturday night. Let's see if the gymnasts can go play softball and help them
Just
out.
do backflips in the outfield and catch it.
Well, they didn't storm the field in Duke after they won the softball game, I can tell you that.
Well, another really good game that happened over the weekend was the Red Wings Blackhawks game. Did you watch that yesterday?
I saw a little bit of that last night. I mean,
it was a big night in Chicago. There was a lot of
I thought
NHL
about you when
icons
I
there.
saw that. I said there'll be one person tonight I know that's just going to go off the rails because you'll think this
Justin's
is
worse than me.
Game
but
7 of the Stanley Cup Finals here.
It was.
There's still 24 games to go, though.
There is. It was still very. Anytime you beat Chicago, Detroit fans are happy. Plus, Kane coming back, game-winning goal in overtime after DeBrincat ties it against Mrazek, former Red Wing.
You said it better than I can.
Gretzky, Chelios, everybody there for Chelios'.
You should do all your hockey before I get here or after I'm gone because it's going to be much more complete than me.
With who?
Can State split with Wisconsin and win the Big Ten title Friday and Saturday?
Do you really want to know? My opinion?
It's ridiculous the thing's not on the Big Ten Network. It's on
yeah.
Big Ten Plus. I mean, it's for the Big Ten title, and then who knows what else they've got on there.
Even as a Michigan fan, I think Michigan State will beat Wisconsin.
Well, then they'll win the Big Ten title.
I do think so.
But if they lose Friday, then it's game on Saturday.
Yeah. You keep shaking your coffee on my equipment, and we're going to have a problem. All right, so you're going to be talking about Red Wings, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock,
yeah.
we're going to be looking over that. And then, like you said, Fred's had a great story on MSU gymnastics coming up tomorrow. We'll have more on that coming up a little bit later. I'll let you get back
to it.
You
know the story, we ought to see what it is. They took some of the gymnasts and showed him some of the routines they do and then let him do it. So he does the...
Is that going to be a CTV exclusive?
What is it? The vault. He does the balance beam. He does a few iron crosses. Then he
uneven bars?
They taught him a floor exercise. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's on tomorrow at 5.
All right.
You're going to see him. He's involved.
You can catch all the extras on all of our streaming platforms.
He's in the Celebrity Gymnastics All-Star Meet. And
that would be
you're
great
going to see that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tim.
All
we'll
right.
see you at 5 o'clock. Everybody else, we will see you tomorrow.